Hey everybody, Jake here, and today we're going to take a look at the Platinum 3776 Century. Alright, so this is a fountain pen. We're going to do a quick run over some specs here as usual. Diameter of the body is going to be 13 millimeters. Diameter of the cap with the clip, 17. Without the clip, 15. The diameter of the grip here is going to be 10.1. And the length of the body, without the nib, is going to be 120. Length of the cap is 67. Length of the nib is 23. And the length overall closed is going to be 140. Length overall posted is going to be 159. The weight of the body is 10 grams, 0.4 ounces. Weight of the cap is 10 grams, 0.4 ounces. So the weight overall is about 20 grams. And then the maximum ink capacity depends on the cartridge or converter that you have. Alright, so now to do some quick size comparisons here, just for reference for you guys. So first up, I'll go and bring up the Pilot vanishing point here. You can see the vanishing point's a little longer. Closed, of course. And then we have the Keras Customs Fountain K, which I will be reviewing soon, along with the Lamy Safari, which I will also be reviewing soon. Now for some slightly different size comparisons. Here we have a Gherkin 30% keyboard, and you can see not much size difference there. And then for the last comparison here, just turn this like this, we have a jar of Riding a Rhino Pico de Gallo, and you can see it's quite a bit more girthy than the pen, but the pen has a slight length advantage, which counts for something. And just to give a quick size comparison with it open, we'll just do a Lamy Safari since it's a fairly common pen. You can see this pen's a little short when uncapped. That's okay, fantastic pen. And we'll get to all that in just a minute. So first we're going to go over the things I like, and this is a fairly decent sized list for this pen. First up is going to be the nib. This nib is fantastic. This is a Japanese nib. See if we can get it to focus here. Probably not. There we go. This is a Japanese company, so this is a Japanese-made nib. In-house, it is a 14-karat medium nib, and it writes amazingly. Very springy, very good consistent flow. There's a hint of pencil-like feedback, which is I find pretty good. If I'm gonna have feedback in a pen, I would like for it to be like this. This is very nice. And you also have the nice heart-shaped breather hole there, which you can kind of see. And the 3776 branding on the nib, which is the height of Mount Fuji in meters, which you could have found out with a quick Google search. Let's see. Next up, the clip. The clip's very, very good. There's just the slightest ramp for you to get, something up. It's very annoying with a pair of jeans, but if you have a shirt pocket, you can just tuck it right in there. This section's very good as well. It's about the perfect size for what I like. Maybe a little small, but it's pretty close in that general area there. Also, I don't know how well you can see this in the cap. You probably won't be able to. Maybe if you can kind of see this is semi-transparent. But right there, you can see there where it starts, maybe the inner cap. So the inner cap extends from there up. And what that does is it keeps it from drying out. Platinum's advertising on that's like 2 years or something insane like that. I haven't had this pen for 2 years, so I can't attest to that. And I'm certainly not going to leave this inked and unused for 2 years to test that out. That's just kind of scary with a pen like this. So one of the next good things about this is the posting. So this is a short pen, just when it's opened up. I mean, it's usable. Don't get me wrong. It's not like a Lilliput or anything like that, but it's much better posted. It's a bit closer to like a normal pen length. Let me bring back out the vanishing point. And you can see it's much more comparable when you have something like that kind of brought up next to it, which is fine. I don't mind posting it. You do get some micro scratches, but those are barely visible, at least in this color I have, which is a sort of burgundy red. It's like, I'm not going to try to butcher that word. Starts with a B though. You can look it up. But they also offer it in a blue and a diamond black. I forget the name of the blue one as well. So the next thing, winding down on the like list here, is the converter. This is a very nice converter with a fairly large capacity as far as converters go. Don't get me wrong. A very, very smooth operation. This did not come with the pen, which I'll get to in just a minute because I didn't purchase this in the US. And also the threads in between this, the threads from the section, I guess, and threads from the body mesh together so nicely. Of course, I'm going to mess up that first time on camera. But it's just nice. You can literally spin them on and off, and it's not even remotely difficult. And one good other thing is when you are tightening the cap onto the body, you can kind of feel that positive. You can get about there. I don't know if you can see the nib. And then you can twist it the rest of that way. And you can just feel the inner cap. Kind of a suction cupping, I guess. And the last good thing on the list are going to be the looks of the pen and the price. So this pen looks very, 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 very classy, especially in comparison to some of my other pens. I like this Keras Custom, but it does not look super classy. That's the tumbled raw aluminum for anyone wondering. Same thing with Safari. Safari Red's great, but it looks toyish almost. This looks professional, which a lot of pens coming out from Japan look professional. But it's just very nice. The gold trim is kind of elegant with this red color, which is partially the reason I got it. And they do limited editions with silver trim, but most of the regulars are in gold. And the price is the last point I want to touch on. So the price, if you get this, I bought this in Japan from a tax-free shop, which if you travel to Japan, you'll know what I'm talking about. And also they had a promotion going on, like if you use a debit card or something stupid like that, you got money off. I picked up this pen for about $60, and then another $5 for the converter. That is a steal for a gold nib pen. That is insane. Most gold nibs cost double that over here. But we'll get to the US price a little bit later in the list. On some stuff I'm kind of neutral about. The weight is very light pen. That's part of the reason I prefer to post it, just so I feel a little bit more heft, because it almost disappears when you're just kind of holding it here. It's insanely light, even when it is, filled with ink. The material on the body, I don't mind it, but it attracts fingerprints like crazy. It's a bit ridiculous. Also, you might have noticed this when I looked at the converter earlier. So all the cartridges and converters are going to be platinum branded because, like all other manufacturers that I know of from Japan, these are proprietary. So you have to pick up a platinum converter if you buy this outside the US. If you buy this in the US, I believe they come with one. Or you can pick up the cartridges if that's something you prefer. Last thing on the neutral list is the price in the US. This pen is very expensive in the US. It is $176 on Goulet pens, which is a lot more than double of what you'd pay for it outside of the US. You can pick these up on eBay for anywhere from like $70 to $80, which if you choose to pay the extra money and support US retailers, that's fantastic for you. The only reason I got this pen so cheap is because I actually traveled to Japan for my honeymoon, and they were there super cheap, so I went ahead and picked one up. I went to the dislike list, and I haven't heard this in the US one, so I'm wondering if this is a quality control issue. If we can get it to focus here, you can see there are some seams on the section from the injection molding. I don't know how well you can kind of see it right there if you look in that reflection. Right about there. That's on both sides. As you can see it a little better there. So that's slightly unpleasant. It's not too bad, especially when you're using the pen. I tend not to notice them, but they are there. So you can tell this was injection molded, which kind of takes away from the classiness and nice feel of this pen. Also, I'm sure you noticed this, most of the pen is gold and red, except for when you get here. This is all silver and it clashes the rest of the pen. I find that extremely annoying. And last thing here on the bad list is the converter rattles. So I'm going to let you listen to this real quick. You can hear that. Now if I take the converter out, screw this back on. So it feels like it's a very nice fit where the converter goes into this section, but it does rattle around in the body sometimes, which you could hear there. It's just annoying. Okay, and last thing we'll do here is a writing sample on the Marumon Nemesign paper, and then we'll have a conclusion. Again, this is a medium nib. Of course, it's going to dry out. And it being a medium from Japan, it's going to be more like a Western fine, or possibly even a Western extra fine. This is very, very fine for me. And you can get a little bit of line variation out of this. I wouldn't push it too much. It's kind of a fairly stiff gold nib, but it writes very well. I haven't had any flow issues. And I really honestly wouldn't hesitate to pay the $170 for it. But in that same territory, you can always get a vanishing point for a little less. And I like this pen. I love this pen, but I really love this pen. So if I had to choose between the two, it would be a 3776. I mean, a vanishing point over the 3776. But I still like this pen a lot. And to give you some more lines here for reference, then we'll do some reverse writing, and you can see it's a little finer. It's not much different. And it is fairly smooth writing in reverse, if that's something you do a lot. Also, I found this ink matches extremely well with this pen. This is Diamine. I'm not sure. A lot of pronunciation issues online. Oxblood, and I find it matches very well with this pen as far as the regular writing. It's kind of that deep, dark red that blends in very well. Now for the conclusion on this pen, I like it a lot. If you can pick it up for under $100, I highly recommend it. If you're looking for something in the $100 to $200 price range, there's a lot of options there, a lot of competition, but this is still a fantastic choice. If you like the feedback, it's there. It's fairly pleasant. You can file it down fairly easily if you have some Mylar paper or micro mesh, which you can pick up online fairly cheap. Overall, though, it's a fantastic pen. I keep it inked up constantly since I've purchased it. And compared to the other pen I bought in Japan, which was the Visconti Rembrandt Back to Black, which I don't use that much, this is much better at a much, much lower price, typically. So I would highly recommend this if you're looking for something around this price range and kind of in this style. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and keep an eye out for our next video. Alright, bye.